AI has the power to automate. But if it's using untrusted data, can you trust the results? Your business doesn't just need AI, it needs the right AI for your business. Introducing Watson X, a platform designed to multiply output by tailoring AI to your needs. When you Watson X your business, you can train, tune, and deploy AI, all with your trusted data. Let's create the right AI for your business with Watson X. IBM, let's create.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone.
How am I affiliated with BDPA? Well, back in the day, I had heard that there was an organization of black computer people. And I was trying to find that organization. And I heard about it several times, but I could never find the organization. And so, I don't know if you're familiar with the publication called Computer World or not, but I was looking at Computer World one day, and lo and behold, BDPA was in it. And they were having their computer conference in Newark, New Jersey. And so I was very excited to see that. And so when I got home, I told my wife, I said, you know, I got them now. I got them now. So I got on the phone. I called the Hilton Gateway in Newark, New Jersey, which is where it was going to be. And I talked to the people in that part that handles conferences and meetings and all that kind of stuff. And I asked the lady who booked the conference. And of course, they couldn't tell me that, you know, so not to be outdone, I asked them, I said, well, could you give them my number and ask them to call me back? Because I've been trying to find them for several years now. And the lady said that she would do that. And I got off the phone, and in a few minutes, my phone rings, and I can't even remember the young man's name now, but he was a part of the Newark, New Jersey chapter infrastructure, you know, one of the officers or something like that. And he called me and he introduced himself, and I told him who I was and why he got the call. And I said, you know, I've been trying to find y'all, but I just couldn't find you. I said, I've been in computing now for a long time, and now that I've found you, I'm hoping that I can get together with you guys to do some work for the betterment of the organization. And he got to telling me about the DC chapter. He said, yeah, we have a DC chapter, and the president of the DC chapter is Miss Shirley Jenwright, and I'm going to give you her number before I get off the phone. And I'm just so thrilled that you called me. And so we chatted for a few more minutes. I got off the phone. I asked him for his number, and he gave it to me. And I guess it must have been 15, 20 minutes later, I got a call from Shirley Jenwright. Shirley Jenwright, I didn't know at the time, is a local politician in Fairfax County, which is right outside of D.C. And she says, "Oh, Jesse, I'm so happy that you called. I want to hurry up and get you involved in this and that and so forth and so on and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that." And the next thing I knew, they were going up to Newark to the conference. And of course, my wife and I caught the train, and I went up there too. And let me just tell you, I was like a little boy in a candy store. I'm meeting all these black people, and they computer this and computer that and telecommunications this, telecommunications that, and they work for this agency, they work for that agency, this company, that company. And I was just telling everybody, I'm just so happy to be here. I'm just so happy to be here. I am going to have to get involved. And so I went to a number of the sessions, and I did the best I could in terms of, being a good participant in the conference. But all the time, I'm thinking, I'm going to be a part of this. Conference was in Cleveland, I think it was. And the BDPA chapter rode to Cleveland from DC in Shirley Jenwright's luxury van. One of them big vans. And I even got a chance to do some of the driving. I said, "Are you sure you want me to drive your van?" I mean, she don't really know me, She says, "Oh man, drive the darn thing." She said, "It's nothing but a vehicle." And so I did a lot of the driving on the way up there, and we was cutting the food all the way up there and all that kind of stuff. And they were having an election. And so the gentleman who won the election, national president, said to me, he says, "Jesse, you should be the national president." I said, No. I should not be national president. He said, "And why not?" I said, "Man, I just got involved with the organization. You don't need anybody like that, running the organization. You need somebody who's been around for a while and so forth and so on." I said, "You've been around for a while." So we were there for about a week in Cleveland, and then after we got back to DC, he was living in Philadelphia. So he called me up about 5 days after we got back. He said, "Jesse," I said, "Yeah, man, what you gonna have me do now?" I said, "I'm just doing just right, doing just fine what I'm doing here." He said, "I've been thinking about this, man, and I've thought about what I want you to do for the national organization." I said, "For the national organization, man, I just became a member of the DC chapter. He said, I got all that. He said, but what I want to do is I want you to be my National Education Committee chair. Now, bear in mind that National Education Committee, right? That committee means what? So I didn't think about that too much right then. What I was thinking about was, what can I do? You know, he needed somebody to make some big splashes in the organization. And so what I started doing was driving up and down 95 to Philadelphia every week to talk to the people who knew about BDPA, you know, the people who knew the organization. And so, and I did that. I talked to them, and I said, well, you know, what we need to do is we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And so I said, okay, here's what I want to do. What I want to do is to start a prototype national computer competition. And I want to design this so that I have a competition between two chapters in two different areas. And so my people didn't really know a whole lot about what I was trying to do. But, you know, I'm one of them people who, I don't let that stop me. I said, I'll teach you. And so what I did was I would talk to the New Jersey chapter, the Philadelphia chapter. That was the Philadelphia person who worked on different things relative to hardware and stuff like that. And then I had to talk to the Atlanta people, because the next conference was going to be in Atlanta. And so, you know, I kind of had to get them on board. The Atlanta chapter wanted to run everything. And so they wanted to, he said, what the Atlanta chapter president said was, I want these two teams to be matched evenly. And I'm saying, well, when you look at what we are trying to have them do, we want each team to be looking at the same types of things. I want them to be looking at the, what do we call it? I want them looking at the computer history. I want them looking at blacks in computing. I want them looking at women in computing, those kinds of things. And I want them, these are the questions for the question and answer thing. And I want them to answer some coding questions. But the language of choice back in those days was the basic computer language. And so, there were sections where people were being asked questions about each of those categories, that kind of thing. What we had was a situation where the two teams, because this is a pilot project, DC and Southside High School, they were both competing. Each team was in a computer lab across the hall from the other. And so the judges then were interacting with both teams at the same time. And I was moving back and forth between them. And so, and I looked at those students and the way they were fielding those questions. Each team had one person who was taking the question, and then they were reading it to the team, and then they would discuss it. And I said, this ain't nothing but the truth. Look at these kids. And so, and they had to do a coding problem. Now, we did not use the term coding back then. We used, what did we call it? Programming problem. Programming problem was was written in basic language. We gave them the problem in English, and they had to come up with a basic program that that actually did what that basic program had to actually do what the basic statements said for them to do, that kind of thing. I came to the BDPA conference, and the reason that I came was to work with the young people. And when Janice decided she was going to take over the IT showcase, and it took us a while to make that happen, she says, Dr. Bemley, the only way I do it is you have to help me with the practice session, because Janice is working on a PhD and she's going to be a superwoman. And so she isn't really comfortable with talking about other areas of expertise and stuff like that. And what I'll do is take a look at the papers that we have, and I will spread that across the different areas, and I'll let the audience know that, hey, these papers encompass this, and this. And that's what we have for you today.
Now, when any department goes out to the community, we're able to hear the positive responses. And that is a great feeling to know that what we're doing is affecting and impacting the community. In the past, we've heard negative responses about the city being unclean, there's a lot of trash on the ground, or the police, we never see them.
It was important for our residents to feel as though that government was going to be responsive.
People were relying on a 9 to 5 being able to contact about any issues that they had.
We put together a very innovative app that gave our residents access.
IBM assisted the City of Sea Pleasant to incorporate Watson into the My Sea Pleasant app. Any resident who has a question that they want to ask about the city on a 24-hour basis can go into the app and click on Watson to ask it a question.
We had a tree fall, and instead of having to call City Hall, I just went and used the chat and said that there's a tree falling in the middle of the street, and they sent Public Works out to get it for me.
I've used it to report potholes that are in the street. I've used it to see what's going on in the city.
No matter where our Public Works director is, no matter where our employees are, they're able to log in because it is on IBM Cloud and get the service request in real time and respond, in a quick and efficient manner.
It allows them to get to us sooner. On a weekend doesn't matter because it comes through, I'm gonna get it. So I love it. I don't see how we ever did without it.